Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're here with part 12 of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. This time out we are racing at Monza in Italy at the Temple of Speed, a track that's surely to bring some sort of excitement, especially in this game with the slipstream. It's definitely a good one. Last time out we were in Zandvoort and we weren't able to get any points. It was a pretty interesting race, some different strategies going on in there, but yeah, unfortunately no points, and we're looking to change that around this time. So we do have our new teammate. You can see there on the right, Robert Schwartzman. His driver acclaim isn't quite as high as Matsushida's was, so we're not going to be getting as much acclaim for now. Matsushida was level 8 before we replaced him with Schwartzman, who's now level 6, but I'm sure that'll go up quite quickly as time goes on. We're going to have a look here at the car performance heading into this round. You can see we've once again made a very big step here. We've overtaken Haas now, and we're actually right in behind Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri, and even Alpine. Alpine made a bit of a getaway there from this little pack, but they haven't really gained that much. So yeah, we're starting to make some good progress now that we're getting some facilities upgraded and getting some things done. You can see further up the field there, they've all actually tightened up again. So Mercedes aren't really making a super big getaway, but yeah, the field's definitely tightening up, and towards the end of the season, we could be having some mega battles if this trend continues. But we are jumping straight into qualifying now. It is all set to be a nice dry weekend, no rain forecast for any of the sessions. You can see as we get underway for our first qualifying lap here in Q1. Nice clear air, no real issues in that department. It's just about going out there and setting a nice banker before we set our second lap. You can see Verstappen goes quick as we cross the line. We go P18 ahead of Russell, about a 10th down on Schwartzman. So good to see Schwartzman sort of performing where the car's meant to be. It's sort of meant to be around with the Hasses, and that's where he is ahead of Schumacher at the moment. You can see as we go on to our second lap, we are in last place. You can see Schwartzman actually just moving up to 18th there ahead of Russell as he completes his second lap. As we head through the second lap, you can see we're about 6/10 up, so yeah, this second lap looking better than our first lap by quite a bit as well, and we've once again got clear air. I don't really know if it's better to be behind a faster car and getting a tow, or if maybe the dirty air sort of cancels that out. But you can see as we head through Ascari chicane, losing a little bit of time through there, which is a bit of a shame. But as we head through Parabolica now, running a little bit wide, luckily not getting invalidated lap, and we're going to get about 5.5 tenths. Is it enough to go to Q2? Not quite, as P17 again. So it seems quite often in Q1 we only just miss out going P17. You can see Hamilton goes provisional fastest just ahead of Bottas. But scrolling down there, you can see very close. Only about a 10th off of Giovinazzi, but you can see 50 place grid penalty there, because we've once again gone and taken some engine penalties heading into this round. So either way, we're going to be starting at the back of the grid. I just sort of figured we're going to have to take penalties at some point, and around Monza you don't want to be having an engine that's not going to be performing to its maximum. So I decided to take those components that needed to be taken. Obviously I could just take one of everything, but I don't really want to sort of cheat my way through it. So I'm taking it as I feel you normally would. But yeah, time to move on to the Grand Prix.
It's time for the Italian Grand Prix once again, here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6 mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. It's just about time to go to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Bottas, Charles Leclerc and Verstappen, Vettel, Stroll, Perez and Pierre Gasly, Sainz, Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi and Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Nicholas Latifi and Esteban Ocon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mazepin, Tsunoda, Russell, they've taken a grid penalty, and Benjamin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so here we are on the grid. You can see for the strategy it's going to be a simple one stop. We're going to be doing 11 laps on the softs and then pitting for mediums, which will be finishing with 16 laps. We're going to put the fuel right down to about 27.1 laps worth of fuel, because this My Team car does a very good job of looking after fuel pretty much from the get-go. So yeah, not too much conserving has to get done, and we get away. It's a pretty good launch, but as usual, just wheel spinning a lot off the start. I've got to work on my starts. I don't really know what I'm doing wrong, but you can see we head into turn 1. We're not really able to go anywhere to begin with, as Russell makes a mega dive all the way up to 11th, and we're eventually able to sort of pass a few cars there, and we get ourselves up into P16, just behind the Alpine of Fernando Alonso, our rival at the moment, as his teammate Esteban Ocon in the other Alpine right behind us as we head down to the second chicane. Out of nowhere, everyone just sort of slowed right down heading into the chicane, and I was able to make a move on Alonso, so that's good for the rivalry there, although I'm pretty sure we're not going to be beating him as we head through the first Lesmo, and we're now going to chase down the Alfa Romeo of Raikkonen, who's right behind his teammate Giovinazzi, and they're sort of getting bottlenecked by Russell, who's going a bit slow, to be honest. So as we head down the back straight, Ocon is right behind us. We're going to have to defend to the inside here as we head towards the Ascari chicane. You can see they're battling up ahead, which will help us close in as we get, we stay ahead of Alonso there, heading out of the Ascari chicane, running very wide. Luckily not spinning the car there as we slightly touch the gravel, but you can see Russell now getting overtaken by Raikkonen after being passed by Giovinazzi heading into Ascari. And you can see Raikkonen's going to sweep around the outside there, and we're actually going to have to back out to make sure we don't hit the back of Russell, and he's definitely got some sort of issue there. You can see he pulls into the pit lane, so maybe broke his front wing after that mega start that he had to get himself right up to just outside the points. But you can see as we head down the main straight towards the turn 1-2 chicane, we're going to dive to the inside here of Kimi Raikkonen. Is he going to leave us space? Yes, he does. We're going to have the outside for turn 2 here, which will give us the better run, and we make the move up into P13, so a very good start here for us as we now head through Curva Grande and set our eyes on the other Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi at his home Grand Prix here as we head through Parabolic here at the end of lap 5 it is, so it took a bit of time, but we have closed in on Gio. You can see Alonso's the next car behind us, and it's almost 2 seconds, so no pressure from behind as we have DRS on the Italian heading down the main straight. He's going to defend, but we're going to dive to the inside here. We're right on the inside line. We're going to slowly force him back to the outside to try and make sure we've got a nice line through the turn 1-2 chicane here, and similar to what the move we made with the Raikkonen, we're going to get the better run out as we're going to go side by side now heading into Curva Grande. You can see Giovinazzi's actually staying there, so that Alfa Romeo seems to have some pretty good straight line speed. As we head towards the second chicane, we're going to have to go around the outside of this first section here. Going to have to make sure to leave him space on the inside. We have the inside for the second part of the chicane, and we do make the move up into P12 now, but you can see it's a 4-second gap up to Pierre Gasly in P11 there, so I don't know how we're going to be able to close in on him, especially now that Giovinazzi's going to have the DRS and the slipstream, so we may get caught in a bit of a train here and a bit of a slipstream battle as we head down towards Ascari chicane, just trying to weave to break the toe. You can see Alonso's been able to close right in. He's within a second of us now after that little battle that we had with Antonio as we head through Ascari chicane. Not the best line, almost losing the car, running very wide, and that's going to allow Giovinazzi to get a better run on us, and in the slipstream he's able to pull to the inside heading into Parabolica, and he's going to get the move done on us again. So all that work has sort of gone down the bin as Alonso's now right behind us. That 2-second gap evaporated within 1 lap there. But as we now head down the main straight, we're a lot closer to Gio than we were last time, so surely we can get the move. You can see just losing time. I don't really have much ERS left, so I sort of turned it off, and I just lost time to Gio. You can see Alonso gets both of us here, but we do get Gio now to the inside of Alonso, almost losing the car into turn 1. We're going to go around the outside of the second corner, and we get a better run out of the chicane as we head into Curva Grande once again. And just like with Gio, Alonso's got better straight line speed, except you can see he's pulling way ahead here, and he's completely ahead as we head into the chicane. I'm going to try and dive around the outside here, not quite able to. We're going to try and go for a bit of a cutback, lighting up the rear, so we're not able to get ahead of Alonso this time. It looks like he's made the move on us. And you can see the gap to Gasly now 6 seconds, so this battling really not helping our cause here. We're sort of battling for nothing because none of us are going to be getting points at this rate. You can see we have DRS enabled. Are we going to be able to close in on Alonso? We are at a rapid rate closing in on the Spaniard as we head towards the Ascari chicane. We're going to go to the inside. We're going to brake just about enough to to warrant enough room as he locks up his inside wheel, heading through Ascari chicane side by side. That slows us right down, and now once again Giovinazzi trying to get in this fight. I tried to go to the outside of Alonso, but Gio's already there, and now we're going to have to try and go to the inside as they go side by side, but I decided to back out of it there, and Raikkonen now trying to make a move on us here as Giovinazzi sweeps around the outside of Alonso and gets himself back up in the 12th place, and I believe he should have DRS as we get DRS enabled, and actually Alonso has it, so Gio's going to get swamped once again down the straight. Alonso through, we're through. Now we're going to go to the inside of Alonso, heading into the turn 1-2 chicane. Once again, we're going to go be side by side. I can see Esteban Ocon's actually made a move on Giovinazzi, and actually so is Yuki Tsunoda. So Giovinazzi has been absolutely destroyed down that main straight. Definitely not the sort of lap he would have wanted. But you can see Ocon now in the rear mirrors. They're making a move on Alonso. But Ocon sort of bottled behind us, so now Alonso trying to go down the inside, but we pull ahead of that battle, and actually they sort of race each other there and allow us to pull about an 8/10 gap, so they're still going to have DRS, but we've pulled a nice gap now, so hopefully we can try and just extend this lead and pull away from these guys. You can see cutting on the lap 12, we haven't been able to do it as Alonso now once again attacking us, and there's nothing we can do to defend that from the Alpine, but we're going to try and dive around the outside this time of the first chicane here. We're going to have the inside line. That should give Alonso the better run. You can see we're still going to be going side by side, and it did give him the better run, and he was able to pull ahead last time, so he's absolutely able to do it this time. We have to be careful of his teammate Esteban Ocon trying to make a move on us here, so just defending that inside line a bit before moving back to the racing line. We're going to have to sit behind Fernando Alonso here as we head through the chicane, once again lighting up the rears, so these rears are going to be wearing out quite a bit, and I'm going to have to really fight to try and stay with Alonso. This is, of course, not for points, but we do have that rivalry, and that will affect our team and driver acclaim. You can see a couple people made a pit stop, and now we're battling for 10th for now, but we are going to have to make our pit stop this lap. This is our lap to come in, so yeah, this could be important as we're in a big train here, so hopefully no one gets held up. Well, hopefully someone else gets held up, but not us. You can see we dive to the inside of the last corner. I wasn't really sure why Alonso was going so slow there, but we're going to peel off to the inside here of the main straight for our pit stop. You can see Esteban Ocon and Giovinazzi continuing on there. Obviously, they don't want to double stack, so I imagine they'll be in next lap. You can see Schwartzman and Latifi continuing on, but yeah, a lot of the lead runners are making pit stops or have already made pit stop. And now it's our turn here. You can see going onto the mediums, not getting held up at all, so that's a beautiful stop there, exactly what we want. And we've actually pulled a bit of a gap to Alonso behind us, so hopefully we can now try and extend this lead while we're on fresh tyres and yeah, try and use that rear traction that we were so limited on just after a few laps of the race there. You can see already on lap 12. Gasly actually very interesting on the hard tyres, so maybe we'll be able to close in on him there. And Lance Stroll there in P15, I believe, has already made his pit stop. He won't be making another stop. You can see cutting to the end of lap 12, Nicholas Latifi's out of the race. He was racing with our teammate Schwartzman. You can see go past the camera there. And he's actually held up Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen there, as well as Daniel Ricciardo. So yeah, that's very interesting. I believe Hamilton actually broke his front wing there. As you can see, if you looked at the minimap then, Hamilton is in the pit lane, so that's an extra position for us as Alonso dives down the inside. But last time out, Valtteri Bottas had a massive issue. It was more of a mistake of his own though, where he lost massive points in the championship. But this time out, looks like Hamilton's going to be losing points. So just in 2 races there, both Mercedes having some sort of disaster, and that sort of evens out the championship battle once again, sort of back to where it was before last round. So Yeah, swings and roundabouts here in this championship, but now we're going to have to try and just stay in behind Fernando Alonso. You can see cutting the lap 21. I've just sort of been saving up ERS, and it's going to be a safety car there as Nikita Mazepin's out of the race. You can see he was trying to overtake Lewis Hamilton here as they head down the main straight, and just behind his teammate Schumacher, he just loses it on the straight before even the braking zone. It actually hits Schwartzman and breaks Schwartzman front wing there. So that's a shame for our teammate there in his first Formula 1 Grand Prix. You can see trying to go alongside Hamilton here. Mazepin just sort of with the DRS open. It's a very strange crash. He just sort of turns a wheel, and with the DRS open, I guess he had no rear grip, and he just loses it and spins. And unfortunately for our teammate Robert Schwartzman there, he didn't really have anywhere to go. You can see he sort of tries to twitch there and get out of the way, but yeah, just didn't really know what Mazepin's car was going to do, and unfortunately there was contact. Luckily he's still in the race. But yeah, some big damage. He had to make an extra pit stop under the safety car, so at least he didn't lose too much time thanks to that. But you can see, weaving the tyres here as we catch the safety car queue, and at the end of lap 24 here, we are going to get going again. And Alonso was going very slow, leaving a massive gap to Gasly here, so I didn't really know what to do. I was trying to hurry him up here, but he kept going slow, so I guess we're going to be starting alongside our rival here as we go on to lap 25 here. Only 3 laps remaining in this race. You can see I'm getting a slipstream off of Gasly, but Alonso still pulling ahead, so that goes to show how poor this engine we have in the back of the car is as we dive down the inside. Everyone going really slow. We're going to go up into P10 here, actually fighting Stroll for P9, sorry. And you can see there was a bit of yellow flag there as everyone slowed down, but Stroll's able to pull ahead, and now we have to watch Pierre Gasly on those hard tyres. He'll be at a disadvantage in these last 3 laps, so yeah, I'm very surprised that he's gone for those hard tyres. Very interesting strategy there from AlphaTauri. As we now dive to the inside of Stroll sort of out of nowhere, as we go around the outside of the second part of the chicane, we do get the move done as we head into the first Lesmo now, but I doubt we're going to be able to close in on Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari or Perez, even though Perez is on those hards, he's in a Red Bull. So yeah, I think P9 is going to have to do it, but P9 is a great position for us to be in. Starting from last place on the grid, I was not expecting to be in the points at all, but here we are, fighting in a massive train here. You can see on the minimap, Schwartzman's dropped off a little bit there, unfortunately, but yeah, he's racing with Mick Schumacher at the moment, which is sort of around where the car performance chart says we should be, but you can see it is the last lap right now. Now got a bit of a decent gap to Lance Stroll. You can see as we head out of the second Lesmo and into the final DRS straight, he's going to be closing right in. He's going to go to the outside as we head into the Ascari chicane. We're going to be braking as late as possible. I want to get this extra point here, fighting with Lance Stroll. We found ourselves in a few battles with Stroll this season. He's sort of been our real rival here, as opposed to what the game says. We've been fighting for those minor points positions this entire series. And you can see he's going to go to the inside for the final corner here. Lando Norris wins the Italian Grand Prix in the McLaren out of nowhere as we go towards the finish line. Who's going to get the position? We're ahead right now, but as we cross the line, Stroll just gets us. And it's going to be P10 for us.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
They made great use of the clear air today then and didn't allow anyone to exploit the slipstream behind them. What a great win here at Monza. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
So here we are with the results for the Italian Grand Prix. You can see Lando Norris with a standout win here ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo in the second McLaren there, also getting on the podium. Very great stuff to see there from McLaren. They have been dropping down the order a bit in terms of car performance by the looks of the graph, but you can see they're still absolutely in the fight here. And having a look at the race director, because Schwartzman did get some penalties, you can see, for some contact with Mazepin there. He actually got 2 5-second penalties by the look of it. I don't know if it's meant to be like that. I think that's a bug. He only got 1 5-second penalty by the look of it, and he never did another pit stop, so it just got added to the end of his race there, which is a bit of a shame for him there, but he wasn't in the points anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But very, very weird to see that he got the penalty for that contact. But you can see we lose out there in the championship standings, dropping down to 11th below Vettel. But yeah, we're up in 11th in our first season with the car that we have, so can't really complain too much. To be this far up already is pretty good. You can see Hamilton actually leads the championship by 6 points over Valtteri Bottas, and it's absolutely a Mercedes affair here for the driver's title by the looks of things there. As it's now 69 points down to Max Verstappen there in the Red Bull. You can see Schwartzman is now on the leaderboard there in 23rd place out of 22 drivers currently on the grid. Obviously, Matsushita keeps his place there as he has completed some races. But looking at the constructors, we stay in 8th place, just 3 points off of Alpine there. It's sort of weird to be saying it, but I kind of want to get my nose into this fight with Alpine and try and fight our way back into 7th place there. I think that'd be very cool to do, especially with Fernando Alonso as our rival at the moment. It'd be very fitting. And yeah, we're absolutely safe in P8. I don't think Alfa Romeo, Haas, or Williams are going to be getting any points that'll be able to challenge us in this championship for the remainder of the season. You can see we tie with points there in the rivalry. And yeah, I'd say Alonso has won this rivalry. There's no way we're going to be able to close in points as it is. On our best weekends, we're able to maybe tie him for points, and he's already got those 7 points or whatever it was ahead of us. So yeah, you can see in terms of sponsor money, we get 3 interview answers. So we get one of our objectives, missing out on the other one. You can see Schwartzman, obviously with that damage there, not really his fault, so I can't blame him for that. And we are at 1.5 mil, which is very good considering in the last episode we signed a new teammate and bought 2 facilities, so to already be at 1.5 mil is very good. So yeah, we're making decent progress, I'd say, considering points are a pretty common finish for us now. To be getting P10 in that race, obviously just missing out on P9 there with Stroll. That was a great last lap battle there with the Canadian. You can see filling out our activity sheet there and just having a look at what upgrades we might be able to do. And we are going to get another aero facility upgrade there, quality control, to reduce failure chance by 10%, and that'll help us sort of ensure that we get those upgrades in that we purchase. We have had quite a few failures over the course of this season, as you can see there with the chassis there getting another failure, and we already had the build, the control there in the facility already made. So yeah, it's a shame. It doesn't really affect us too much. It just loses us a few resource points, as it's still going to come in before the next round at Russia. And just having a little scroll through for any upgrades we might be able to do, but there's not really much. We've only got 209 resource points now. You can see we get a durability upgrade in. So slowly coming in. You can see just missing out on being able to do a durability upgrade there, but I'm sort of more focused on the performance at this point. We've already taken a bunch of engine penalties, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have to do another one before the end of the season. But you can see here we get a dilemma, and it's either adding 7 stats to Schwartzman's experience there, or racecraft, and I went for experience because at the moment he doesn't really need much racecraft because he's at the back of the grid. So I figured maybe adding some experience, maybe that would help him avoid that incident there with Mazepin. But you can see we have 1.2 mil after going through our weekly income, and that allows us to buy a fitness center to help with Schwartzman's pace and racecraft. So yeah, it's sort of starting to look into teammate development, especially going into next season. I'm hoping to maybe sign an F1 driver. Maybe we'll keep Schwartzman, I don't know yet. But I think it's time to start looking into that sort of thing as we move forward with the car. We're going to skip through the last few days here, and we do get that cable assembly in for the chassis upgrade, and that brings us on to the Russian Grand Prix. So yeah, we'll be there for the next episode. Interesting track. I've usually got pretty good pace there. If you did enjoy this episode, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like it. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.